All right, everybody. This is I don't know about you, Jason, but I'm going to call this the tired and extremely tired episode of the How to Hunt Deer podcast. We had a huge weekend here in Iowa, just running around. We had state wrestling, and I'm tired this morning, dude.
Yeah, we didn't get back till it was after 9 o'clock last night, and we left Friday, and we
Yeah.
went to Springfield for
Mm-hmm.
two of the girls were competing in tumbling competition all weekend. And as you know, it goes, luck would have it, having the most kids out of everybody that tumbles there. One of them is tumbling at 9 o'clock on Friday night and then 5 o'clock on Sunday night. And it's like, dude, so we're exhausted, but we made it through and we're awake, and it's Monday and it's going to be 72 degrees here. And we finally got some rain. We finally got some rain.
And it wasn't just a little bit of rain. I don't know where you guys got. We got hammered with rain.
Yep, so did we. I was actually supposed to go shed hunt Friday morning before we left for Springfield, and the guy kind of called it off like, dude, it's going to be too much. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's what I'm seeing. So we're probably going to go here in the next week or two. This is on some, it's like a sanctuary property across from my best piece that I have. So kind of excited about that. So that's in the radar, hopefully here for the next week or two. But man, I started painting in the addition on Friday morning, and I don't know about you, but there's something about painting that just sucks.
Yeah, dude. Dude, painting does suck, man.
Yeah.
My wife, it seems like every 5-ish years she wants to paint the inside of the house a different color. And we have one of those split foyer homes.
Yeah.
But we don't have like our stairway kind of angles up into the living room from the entryway.
Sure.
And then goes down. So we don't have like this. If we paint, the upstairs and the downstairs are connected by walls where on a normal house, they wouldn't be there. And so if we paint, we have to paint the whole house. Right. Upstairs and downstairs. And every 5 years she wants to do that roughly. And so the other day she was like, man, I'm thinking about this new paint color. And I'm like, I'm not fucking painting it. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it. And I apologize for my language, but that's how much I hate painting, dude. I'm just like, you do it all by yourself, because I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it at all.
And, I'm kind of caught between this edition, I want it to look nice and everything, obviously. And, we have kids, so we have available soldiers to put to work, but I don't want paint all over everything, so it's like, dude, I got to do it myself. My wife's freaking 30 weeks pregnant, and it's like, I'm going to have to do it. So needless to say, that's how Friday was. And then today I'm going to, I can't even say the word finish, because fresh drywall, it just takes forever, it seems like, to actually get that first coat to soak in, and then you get it soaked in. But man, I'll tell you what, we got home and I checked the mailbox last night, and I knew this was coming, so this wasn't a big surprise. But you want to talk about just a kick in the, we had to have these big industrial electric heaters running in this addition, because the way they opened the house up, basically our kitchen's going to be opened up into a big mudroom. So they had to take the north wall of the house down, and then they put foam board up, and that's been up for probably a month. So they wanted to heat that existing addition, or the new addition, before they did all the HVAC and stuff. And they still haven't done the HVAC. So we got our electric bill. Oh my God, Dan. You talk about $500 extra for 1 month of heating that addition, just because of those electric heaters. So as they run off of what an oven or a dryer would run off of, plug-in wise. It's a 50 amp breaker. I was just like, I looked at her and I'm like, I don't know what it takes, but this guy's got to finish this job here soon.
Yeah. I feel you, buddy. I feel you, because I didn't have an electrical outlet. I had an electric bill issue. I had a website deal that I had to fix. And so I migrated part of my data over to another platform that we use. I'm just going to keep it that simple. And I had a little brain fart when I did that. And in order for me to move, I made the move. I pushed everything over to this new platform. And then I was like, oh, crap, I have all these links that are over here from that. So I had to call my web guy. He helped me fix it. And of course, my web guy sends me a bill.
Oh,
That's all I'm going to say. Like, great guy. Love the dude to death. But he needs to make a living too. Right. And I'm just like, oh my God, it took way longer than I thought it was going to take. It's still not done. And I got a bill in the mail, and I'm just like, awesome. Yeah. Right. I think I need to show that bill to my wife, because now she's like, well, we don't do anything on spring break. And I go, hey, look at this bill right here for $850 for this dude's time, so that my business can run. So
your spring break is at the end of March, I assume?
Yeah, it's next week. Not this
yours
week.
Is next week.
Yep, not this week, but next week.
Okay, so ours is the last week of March. But we were having this discussion because we're probably going to be, hopefully by spring break, being able to move into our addition, which is huge because we're not going anywhere this year, obviously, with the expense. Well, part of this moving, we had to buy new furniture. And I told you this a few podcasts ago. We ordered furniture from a company that had been in business 98 years, and they closed their freaking doors. And now I'm catching word that they're filing bankruptcy. So we're out $3,000, and there's nothing we can do about it. We could file a lawsuit, but how much money we're going to have in a lawyer? I filed a claim with the Better Business Bureau. I did everything I can do to this point. So we're going to get a free consultation from a lawyer and see where we can go from here. But that's $3,000 in furniture. That's like,
dude,
bye-bye.
I would show up to that dude's house with a trailer, and I'd be like, okay, I apologize, but I'm taking your furniture out of your house. You owe me. Right. You owe me. You took my money and then you filed bankruptcy. Come on. Can't do that.
Dude, it's a crazy story, because this is a family-owned business for 98 years. They've moved this and that. Well, they were going to make a transition to the two sons or whatever. Well, my wife was reading on Facebook, and she's like, oh, it looks like the two sons are drug addicts. And I'm like, why wouldn't they be,
Yeah, man, I sold all my couches for crack.
Right. It's like, you talk about some of the most messed up stuff, and like how much you can just kiss money goodbye. And then, we're on our way down to Springfield, and I look at her and I'm like, do you see these prices of diesel? Yeah. And so then we're turning around, we're on our way back, and I'm like, okay, so I wasn't hallucinating. Like, diesel did go up to like $4.50 here in Illinois. Yeah. And I'm like, do you know how much that costs me to run 2 trucks per month once the work season starts? I mean, we're talking almost $2,000 just for those 2 trucks.
Yeah.
It's like, it's crazy.
Yeah. I thought we robbed Venezuela to make this easier on us or something like that. I don't know what the hell. I'm just like, what's going on, dude? Yeah. Anyway.
So let's talk some hunting.
Yeah, let's talk some hunting before we blow up into political talk or the state of the furniture industry here in the U.S. But let's do a commercial real quick.
Yeah, so Code Blue Scents. Let's talk about your accessories and all the things that you can add to your arsenal. And I think Code Blue Scents is probably one of my top things that I use. I mean, obviously, you use it year-round. With the rope-a-dope kit, making the mock scrapes and everything. But now, I use their full line of detergents and their scent sprays and everything to kind of accommodate all the needs that I have as a hunter, especially being a bow hunter. I like to get close to the animals, and being able to use some of the synthetic, scents, it definitely helps. And I feel like it helped me capitalize this past fall with having some buck urine and doe and estrus on the decoys that I was using. So
yeah. Yep. Real and synthetic deer urines, field scent elimination sprays, body washes, laundry detergent, all the stuff to make you smell like nothing. And then we also have the rope-a-dope mock scrape kit, the grave digger. You sprinkle that into the mock scrape. All the stuff you could ever want. Go to codebluescents.com, discount code HTH20, right? HTH20.
Yeah.
All right. Yep. What are we talking about today, Jason?
Well, so I had a couple thoughts, and one thought was, I recently went to the doctor myself for the first time in about 15 years, and I got blood work done and everything, and I kind of, like, with the way that everything's been, I was looking at they're going to tell me I'm dying, right? Or they're going to tell me I've got something wrong with me, so obviously being 45 and this, like there's boxes you have to start checking, you check your prostate, colonoscopy, and hey, I got kid number 6 on the way. So like lining up a vasectomy. And then 3 years ago, I tore my quad and I still have not, had that repaired. So I go in there the first time and he's like, all right, let's make a list of things that we want to do. And so I make a list and, here I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to get a vasectomy next week and I'm going to be good to work in 2 weeks and we'll be good to go. Dude, a vasectomy is probably going to take to schedule it until like November for me because I can't do it now that we're almost, I'm going to be working in a week or so. So it's probably going to be like a November, December timeframe. The other stuff I could probably schedule at any point, colonoscopy, it'd be kind of the same thing, prostate, they could just do in-house deal. And the quad, like I'm scratching my head with it because the guy's like, maybe you do a little physical therapy. And I'm like, physical therapy, man, I still run. I still work out. Like you're missing what I'm saying here. Like it's torn, it's balled up. And he's like, oh yeah, definitely something wrong with it. Let's get some imaging. Well, so, you try to schedule the imaging. It's like to get an MRI, that's like pulling teeth too.
Yeah.
And I got to make this schedule work in order for my work to work to where if I have this surgery, it's got to be end of November, first part of December, because it's like 6 to 9 months in rehab. So, and my thought with this conversation was like, you're having your knee replaced and you've already had to start planning like how that affects your deer season.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about like what that looks like as far as your expectations throughout the preseason, but then for this fall.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. Honestly, I'm taking it step by step. I have decided I am not going to go on any Western hunts or out of state hunts this year. If I do, it'll be like a last minute thing where I just maybe hop up into Wisconsin or Minnesota because those are both over-the-counter states. Illinois over-the-counter, Missouri's over-the-counter. So I have the opportunity, if I want to go do some public land hunts in a different state, I can do it. But I think this is just like a treading water type year for me where I'm going to probably just hunt Iowa and try to hunt a little bit more than I normally do. In Iowa, maybe pull the muzzleloader season in, maybe hunt shotgun season, definitely more bow hunting. But I'm going to have to prepare for that because not this week. I'll pull my schedule up. I'm getting my surgery on the 25th of March. That's 3 months later than I originally wanted it. I wanted it in January.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I'm going to have my knee surgery on the 25th. On the 16th, I believe, or on the 17th, I have an all-day knee evaluation where I have to go into multiple places, get my blood work done, blood pressure. They're going to take new imaging of my knee and basically get it into schematics, I guess. They need to be prepared for the next week. And so this week I'm heading to, so this week I'm working on Friday the 13th. I'm pulling my boy out of school and his best friend, and we're going down to the farm. I call it the 4-hour farm because it takes about 4 hours to get there here in Iowa, all back roads in order to get to it. And I'm going to move some tree stands. We're going to shed hunt. I'm going to probably freshen up some mineral. I'm going to, what else am I going to do? We're going to get a hotel on Friday night and we're going to stay in a hotel. And that way we have like 2 days to do all this stuff. Go look for sheds. I'm going to try to get some hinge cutting. I'm going to try to cut down about 30 trees. In that I got permission from the landowner to do so. And, basically try to check all of those boxes in a matter of less than 48 hours, basically.
Yeah.
And so that's how I'm prepping. And the reason why, I think we talked about this also, but the reason why I'm moving my tree stands now is because I think I've kind of identified, I've hunted this farm long enough now where I think I've identified some historical rut funnels. I want to get my tree stands in those funnels into places with more shooting, more shooting lanes and, deer movement, and get my stands in there so that I don't know how this knee surgery is going to go. Like,
Yeah.
some say it takes 12 months to fully recover from a knee replacement. If you're older, they say it takes longer. If you're younger, it might be like me. I'm 45, and it might be a little bit younger, less time, because I still work out. I've been working my legs a couple times a week to get them into shape to where hopefully I have a quicker recovery, and I can build my muscle after the surgery back up. I think most of it is just the healing process. It's not real any muscle atrophy. It's more like the wound itself has to heal, and that's
Yeah.
the biggest part of the knee surgery, and that takes a couple months to do so. But I'm hoping, from everything that I've heard, I'll be on my feet the day of the surgery, trying to walk on a walker or crutches, and it's an in and out procedure. So
Yep.
it must be low key enough to where I'm going to go in, I'm going to get it done, and I'll be home that night.
Yeah.
So
Well, I could tell you, I mean, so my mom is 64, 65 years old, and she just had both of her knees done. She had one in November and she had one in January. And we were
yeah,
sitting at a basketball tournament a couple weeks ago, and she's like, "Feel my knee." And I was touching her knee, and she's like, "You feel how hot that is?" And it was like smoking hot to the
yeah.
touch. Like, and it's just from the friction and stuff and everything stretching and getting used to the new knee. And so
Yeah.
I mean, it can be done. I mean, she's, that age. I mean, she's
And
recovering
she's
fairly
walking
well.
around
So
and everything right now.
yeah, yeah. And that's
No,
both
no,
knees.
yeah,
No
yeah,
crutches, no walker, no nothing. So she's doing well with it. Obviously, there's hiccups and there's days that are better than others, but
yeah.
kind of goes with everything. But one thing I was thinking about when we were in Springfield, we stopped at Shields, and I've been intrigued by them for quite a while, but I have a hard time actually like biting the bullet is these e-bikes and stuff. And
Mhm.
now you got one, correct?
Yep, yep,
And
I do.
so how does that play a factor now? Like, is that something that you're going to use this fall quite a bit?
Well, I've been using it for strategy, using it as a strategy chess piece for a long period of time now. Or
Yeah,
I shouldn't say a long. I bought it maybe 3 years ago, four
yeah,
years ago, um, for South Dakota mule deer. And dude, the first time I brought it out there to use it, dude, I was going, instead of going like a mile in, I was able to, like, how public land works,
yeah,
and it's not necessarily checkerboarded, but it's like
yeah.
little pieces connect to little pieces that go into like this big, it's not 100% landlocked,
Right,
but it's like, in order to get back there by staying on public the whole time, it would be like 6 miles,
right.
dude. And
Yep.
I rode that thing back there in 6 miles in like 30 minutes, or, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that doesn't make sense, but like it took me
yeah,
maybe an hour to get back 6 miles as opposed to walking 2 miles, and it takes me an hour to get back there. And so, dude, that e-bike got me into a lot of places that I couldn't get. And then also from a strategy standpoint here in Iowa, man, I just use it because deer they see me walking, they're like, huh, what is that thing? I don't
yeah,
like it. I'm going to run away. Me on an e-bike, they will literally stand and watch me
yeah.
walk. They'll watch me, and I'll disappear behind terrain or trees, and that's it. They,
Do do you care to share what brand and pros and cons and CCs and all that stuff with it, or?
yeah. So in order for me to take it on public land in South Dakota, I needed something that was under 1,000 wattage, whatever that is. And so it's considered a class 1. Now, again, it has to be under that. Also, in order for me to use it in South Dakota, I have to unplug the throttle on it. So the only way it works is when I pedal.
Yeah,
So there's pedal assist. And so that's what makes it an if you're under 1,000, or it's like 750, it's either 750 or under 1,000, and it's pedal assist. That's what makes it legal on public land out
okay.
there. Now, In other states, it's just, I don't know what the rules are for other states. I know, but
Yeah.
on Iowa, I don't have to worry about it because it's on private. Everything's private in Iowa.
Yeah.
So I just put the throttle on it and I buzz back there I park my truck up by the road and my half a mile back into the good spot of the farm. I don't have to walk. I don't have to disrupt anything. They think it's like a vehicle of some sort. It's very quiet. And I get back there. I have a little parking area where I dump my bike, and it's a Quiet Cat is the name
Okay.
of it.
You got okay. So
And
so
let's be
we were
honest here. Hang on one second. I got to finish
Okay.
the story
All right.
because price is serious.
It is. It is.
I had a buddy who worked for them, and he sold it to me he doesn't work there anymore, but he sold it to me at 50% off.
Yeah.
So instead of paying $6,000, I paid $3,000 for it.
So that's kind of where I was going next with it. It's like, obviously there's a ton of different brands and stuff like that. And I was looking at, I think Shields had 3 of them, and Quiet Cat was one of them. And they had, I don't know if it was entry level or what, it was camo and stuff, but it was like 5,400, but it was on sale for 3,700. And I'm like, man, if this was a long-term investment that I really thought would benefit me, I mean, it is an investment in itself. And then you break that down amongst years or months. Me personally, I've had a hard time doing it because of the cost factor, but also because I've always just relied on my legs. But then the older that I get, the more I'm realizing like the legs don't keep up as good as they used to, and if I want to go that 6 miles deep or whatever, like you were saying, it may require something like this. And like this year, I'm hoping to draw South Dakota, I've got points and I've kind of been just sitting back. But if I do, my options are, I'm not going to walk as far, or I'm going to walk far and be exhausted within the first day or two, or, you bite the bullet and you buy something like this. So do you have a cart or anything you have with yours, or no? Just
Nope.
Okay.
If I let's say out west, if I'm on that bike and I shoot a whitetail in some river bottom, I'll just quarter it or debone it and put it in my game bag, and I have a bigger bag that I take out there, and then I'll just pack it out, put it on my back, and then I'll just drive it out.
Okay.
However, in Iowa, I get back there for strategy. I shoot a deer, and then I just pull my truck up into the farm and drag it out of the woods to the closest area I can get my truck into, and then pop it up.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. My wife was standing there when I was looking at them, and she's had a e-bike, but she had a Trek, and hers was more or less just for recreational purposes, trails, maybe, mostly road riding. So she didn't have the big wide tire and everything. And I was looking at it like, I'm kind of serious about this thing, and she's like, yeah. And you're real serious about it? And we look at the prices, and I'm like, but they're on sale, and to try to make that, we talked about hunting land a week or so ago, about making these purchases that are that expensive with your spouse. It's like, I can't really rewind 20 years now and go back to when Jason was a little more foolish with that money.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know, man. I'm a big advocate of living your best life every single day because you don't know when it's going to be over.
Right.
I also believe that I'm going to try to take care of myself so I don't have to go to a nursing home when I'm 70.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And
then you hear these nursing home prices. You're just like, my money will be gone in a couple of years at that point. So I'm hoping some billionaire who I helped change a tire once, like a long time ago, was like, dude, that Dan Johnson, he deserves he deserves a little something for helping me out, right? That's not going to happen.
No, it's very similar. Like, we laid down in bed last night, and I looked at her and I'm like, we honestly need the winning lotto ticket.
Yeah.
It's just like, but what are the odds? That one private investor, that one guy that has gobs of land, and he just happens to remember you in his will. Like, very few and far between. So,
but here's the reality of all that And this is maybe a good transition into a different topic, unless you had anything else that you wanted to talk about.
Not really.
Um, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing this for? And I think we may have had a little conversation about this, earlier this winter, or maybe even into the fall, where everybody's so secretive, everybody's hating on specific weapons, everybody talks shit on each other, whether or not a buck is big enough. And I'm just to the point now where I honestly don't care. Like, I am so looking forward to this weekend where I can slow down a little bit. I can go out and get my boy and his best friend, maybe hopefully find a shed or two. Hopefully, no one else has been on that farm, and just do some walking. Get them excited about the outdoors. There's a pond there they can go throw rocks in, things like that. And so, I'm just
It-
like, that's what I'm looking forward to now. I
yeah.
don't even care about, I mean, I do. Big bucks are awesome. And that's my goal every year, is to try to track one down. But it's not in my head like it used to be, man.
Yeah. So I'm gonna like answer this in a couple segments, but did you happen to go to the Iowa Deer Classic?
I was at state wrestling all weekend,
Okay,
so
you're
no.
okay. Okay, so you didn't either. So we've
And
been
by the
there.
way, I'm sorry, 1 second.
No, go ahead.
And I'm glad I didn't, because
Okay.
my daughter is a state champion, a
Dude,
seventh
that's awesome.
grader who won the 7th and 8th grade division, 104 pounds. She's the state champion.
That's
There's
awesome.
no other 104 pounders in the state of Iowa that are better than my daughter.
Congratulations.
And so I'm just like, yeah, and I'm just jacked about that, dude.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So,
That's great. Main reason I asked the Iowa Deer Classic, because obviously it was this past weekend, and I have taken my kids before, and I have not been to a single show in Illinois, Wisconsin, or Iowa in several of years. And, we used to go to Madison quite a bit because it was close, and I would take the kids, and when they were really little, you could get a picture with a grizzly bear or a black bear cub, or something like that. And I was asking my kids about it, if they remembered. And I'm like, I don't really remember. Well, now with the baby on the way, I'm hoping that I can potentially do that next spring. The baby would be almost 1 and we'll be doing that. But there's a part of me, and then this is going to kind of answer like what we're doing. Part of me is like, things have changed so much in the last 15 to 20 years, where going to shows is not what it used to be for me.
Yeah.
And I know like the hunting industry, quote unquote, is different than it was then too. We've seen the days of like monster buck videos and Drury videos, and we've seen that go to now it's all digital and everything's a YouTube or whatever. Everything's changed there. We were going through a closet here with trying to consolidate things and move things around. Dude, I filled up 1.5 totes, like fairly big totes of VHS and DVDs that years ago I bought, because I'd sit and watch tons of hunting videos. And now it's like, what are you going to do with them? You can't buy a VCR, and DVDs even like coming by the wayside. It's like everything has to click on it and download or whatever. Well, all that talk about these shows and stuff, it had me thinking when I was out shed hunting my big piece. And it kind of was like a moment for me by myself. I'm walking up to this knob, and I specifically remember sitting there turkey hunting with my daughter when she was probably 4 or 5 years old on the ground. And I'm looking at the radar and I'm watching this thunderstorm. Like it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And I'd seen 70 turkey the other day, and it made me flash back to this turkey hunt and how much that turkey hunt meant to me and being there with my daughter. So we sit there to the very, very edge of this storm, and then we get in the car or the truck and we head to one of the closer towns, and we go to this cafe, and we're watching a monsoon outside, but we're just enjoying our breakfast, just father, daughter enjoying breakfast, after a turkey hunt. And no, we weren't successful that morning, but I asked my daughter just last week, I said, do you remember that? Like, because I'm asking you about these bear pictures, do you remember those things? And so to answer your question in a full, like loop all this in together, that's why I'm doing it, Dan.
Yeah. So to preserve memories with your daughter.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. The Iowa Deer Classic, man, I've been to it so many times. I've been to the Illinois Deer Classic. I've been to the Ohio Deer Classic or whatever they call it, Expo, Wisconsin. I've been to the ATA show. I've been to, let's see, Illinois, Michigan, Indiana. Like I've been, and even Nebraska one year. I've been to all those, and I don't know, like they're all kind of the same. The Iowa Deer Classic's a little bit amplified a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah.
That's where, I mean, you're going to run into some names and all that stuff. But, um, the Iowa Deer Classic is an extreme eye opener for you. You have these conversations and you see these big giant bucks that people kill. And then you
Right.
ask like if you were to sit down and have ask a question with them and you're like, yeah, talk to me about this. And the guy starts throwing numbers. He's like, yeah, so I manage 800 acres or, I have access to 300 acres. And that's so instantly their ability to have um, deer that are unpressured are higher than anybody else.
Right.
Right. And so, and I'm in that boat too. I have access to that, but I share most of my main hunting farm with a lot of people. My other property that I have access to really is only 80 acres, and of that 80 acres, really only 30 of it is huntable, and so that's a little different. But you realize all the money that is being spent into habitat work, into planting literally hundreds of acres of food just for deer.
Mm-hmm.
Like they bush hog it down and then deer and turkey eat it all year, or
Yep.
wildlife, right? We're talking thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of dollars that some of these people are putting into their habitat work and their land because that's what they love to do.
Yeah. Yep.
But it's not a reality for me. That's not a reality for me, right?
Right.
Number one, I love deer hunting, dude. It's part of me, but I'm not going to put that type of money towards that
Yeah.
when I have other things I could put money towards,
Yeah.
right? And so kudos to all the people who are doing it and who have done it and who make their living doing it or have who have set their life up to do that. Good for them. It's just not a reality to me or normal, I guess you would call average Joes.
Yeah. I mean, to go back with these shows, I think they're a great thing, to entry level. There's tons of vendors, there's tons of knowledge, there's tons of trinkets and gadgets and all the things. But man, I've had some of my best conversations at some of the smallest shows,
Yeah.
whether it was a small banquet or whether it was a local, over by the Mississippi River. Every once in a while, you'll catch like a whitetail, weekend
Hmm.
extravaganza type deal or whatever. And I've had some of the best conversations with some of the simplest people,
Yep.
through those small shows, just like come look at their sheds that they found on their property and come learn a little bit about what they're doing for wildlife or
Yeah.
and I think sometimes that's what eh, we just miss that,
Yeah.
so like what we're doing, I don't know, everything's always at the tip of our fingertips. Like I'm sitting here whining about my electric bill or whining about my furniture, when the end goal for me is like I just want a simple life to where, like you said, I'm not 70 years old and bankrupt in a nursing home. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to be in a nursing home.
Yeah.
So if 70 years old, I've got that 20-acre piece of land that you were talking about. Maybe that was my investment. Maybe that's what pushes me the next 10 years.
Right. Yep. I don't know, man. I'm like, again, I'm just trying to enjoy the outdoors for as long as I possibly can. Even longer with my son, dude. My son is so here's a funny story. My father-in-law is a huge wrestling fan. Like he's 75 years old, huge wrestling fan. He comes to almost every one of my daughter's meets. Okay. And she won state yesterday. And so he was pretty jacked up about that. He was fired up.
Right.
But then, so this weekend, my oldest boy, he didn't want to go through the whole state thing. So he went to my stepdad, with my stepdad, and they went fishing all weekend. And
Oh, really?
my boy caught a 4 over 4 pounder, so a 4.3 pound bass out of this farm pond, which is his personal best, my son's biggest bass.
Yeah.
And I think my father-in-law was more impressed that my son used a wacky worm to catch that bass than that my daughter is a
Once.
state champion in wrestling. He
That's
was like,
crazy.
whoa.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
was fired up. So
yeah.
that yesterday might have been the greatest day of his life when
Well,
his
that's good.
granddaughter won a state champ and his oldest grandson caught a 4 pounder. So
Yeah, but that's why you're doing it, right?
exactly.
I mean, it's to loop it back in. It's like that's why we do these things, for those memories and stuff, because
Yep.
you don't know, like to your point, like you don't know what tomorrow brings and everything. So I always look at it like not necessarily be adventurous, but get out and experience something new. You know,
Yeah.
we're hitting like a crossroads with our kids with multiple different sports and stuff, to where especially the older two, they have more sports at their disposal than they've ever had their entire life. And a lot of them are just through the school. So they're having to make some of these decisions because we have so many kids that, you know, maybe we have to stop tumbling now, or maybe we have to stop this travel, whatever, right now. And if you want to focus on this thing at school, I mean, that accounts for 5 days a week plus games and all the stuff. That's where you
Yeah.
put your efforts. But now we can go back to conversations that we've had before where kids are becoming one sport athletes and everything too.
Yeah.
You know, I'm about experiences. My wife's about experiences. We love to experience all of it. So I want to show all the kids, you know, what they have. You know, we sit here last night and we're like, what is our daughter going to do when she's born? What is she going to get into? Is she going to get into the tumbling like the three of the four other girls have gotten into? You know, is she going to get into wrestling, or is she going to get into what's going to be her thing? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I would avoid dance and tumbling. That shit's too
Yeah.
expensive.
Dude, it is crazy.
Dude, my neighbor drove to Kansas City, 2 days of hotel rooms. And then I think another weekend they went to Chicago for this cheer competition. Her daughter's in cheer competition. You know how much time that girl was on stage for? A total of, I believe, 2 or 3 minutes total. That's 2 days.
Yeah.
You kidding me?
Yeah.
Thousands and thousands of dollars. Well, I'll tell you this. It's not that much money to do wrestling, but my daughter wrestled a total of like 4 minutes and 50 seconds. 4 minutes and 30 seconds this entire weekend, 4 matches. And so all of that time and energy to put into it, oh my God, dude, I'm just like, I can't, that money's ridiculous.
It is crazy. And I told her too. I said, when my oldest daughter, she's going to be done. She's got one more competition, then she's done tumbling. So currently we would have one kid in tumbling, and we have literally taken two out of it in the last year, you know. So to save that money is going to be astronomical. Like the just sitting and writing a check for that stuff is crazy. But in hindsight, like if you ask me, hey, would you do it again? 100% I'd do it again. That's what the kids wanted to do. That's what they love to do. And to be able to give them those experiences, I would do it again, hands down. But and I say, but like, we could find something a little bit cheaper to do too.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't think I'm going to coach football this year.
Oh, okay. Well, we can talk about this, because this is a topic that we need to talk about, actually.
Yeah, it's in the fall. I just don't know. Like, I can coach wrestling because a lot of it is one-on-one. You're just like working. But when you're and even in the practice room for wrestling, it's different. Baseball is a little bit different because it is still a little bit individualized. But like when you're trying to teach an offensive line to block a certain way, dude, I've done it for a handful of years now. I honestly don't know if I have the energy to do it again. Like, the kids some of the kids are ready to go. They're great listeners. Some of them don't care, or they don't want to be there. They're forced to be there. We got kids who are they're afraid to hit, and it's not that I'm giving up per se, because I don't mind coaching football. It's just I coach everything else, and I almost want to take a fall off to just enjoy watching my kids play the sport instead of coaching it. And at the same time, my oldest boy now, he doesn't want to play football. He
Yeah.
just wants to do wrestling and baseball and fish and hunt. And I'm like, dude, what's my favorite time of year? Fall. Dude, I can go out and I can take him fishing every day. Like, not every day, but, take him hunting with
Yeah.
me. Just go find a piece of public, sit on the ground and kind of see what we see, all that stuff.
Yeah. We just had this conversation because my son's been doing winter workouts for football for the last
Yeah.
2.5 months, and it ends here at the end of March. And then there'll be a couple month break, and then they'll have camp, and then they'll start practices. Well, I got asked to head coach his team this year, and I've helped the last 3 years, so this would be 4 now. And this is technically the last year that I could coach him, because then he'll be going into middle school to where they have a team at school. So unless I'm
Yeah.
on that staff, I'm not coaching anymore. So
Yeah.
last potential year, but then we're also having a newborn, so it's like there's part of me that wants to do this because this is my last opportunity with a son to do football.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a part of me that's like, I don't want to. Like, I just want to sit and enjoy it. And I want to enjoy the other kids, and I want to enjoy
Yeah.
the baby, so I'm having a hard time with that. Like, we're going to have 5 girls, 1 boy, and this is my last chance to do this with him. Or do I just watch him?
Yeah.
I'm struggling with it. And it may sound simple. It may sound dumb, but it's like I could coach his team, head coach his team, and maybe we suck, maybe we're awesome. I don't know, but I got to do it with him.
Yeah.
Versus hindsight, I don't do it. I sit back and I watch, and then
Yeah.
that's
So
that.
here's
It's done.
here's what's going to happen. I'm going to say no. I'm not going to sign up to be the coach. And then probably 2 weeks before the season starts, I'm going to get a coach by the guy who runs it, and he's going to lean on me, and I'll probably give in, and I'll say, yeah, okay, I'll coach.
Yeah.
Which means that there's no early season hunting. It's like there's nothing, and then there's the rut, which I miss 1 game for, I believe.
Yeah.
Or it's done. It's usually done by mid-October, and so after that, it's just. But I don't know, because as my sons start to get older, practices aren't just 2 times a week anymore. They're 5 days a week now.
Yep.
And I'm just like, holy cow, dude. It takes it actually does take a special person to show up, a special type of coach to show up and go through that process, not just for their own kids, but for all the kids.
Oh, well, and you're not dealing with just the kids. I mean, if you've got 30 athletes, you've got 30 sets of parents.
Yep. And you're in charge of the organization, the
apps,
the communication,
yep,
all that stuff.
Yep.
So
yeah, that's a lot of what I've been thinking about too, is how much do I want to deal with all that on top of it, and it's just busy, and owning your own business to try to make all that stuff work and function and be here and be there. Yes, you can set your schedule to some degree, but you also have to still work,
Yep.
So yeah, there's a lot of that. But one last thing I want to talk about kind of today was we touched on it a little bit. And so you've talked about South Dakota and your experiences in the past, and like now, like using an e-bike and everything. My hopes are that I can get to South Dakota this fall. And I'm just looking at it as I would any out of state hunt, whether it's in Nebraska or like last fall with Colorado. I'm going to do a lot of online scouting and stuff. Now, listening to like your past experiences in South Dakota, this last year you ran into tons of does, correct?
This past year?
Yeah, this past year.
This past year, what did we run into? Yeah,
tons of mule deer does.
Yeah, not a ton. Numbers were down where we were at, but we saw a lot, but not the most we've ever seen. I didn't see anything was any type of substantial antlers. I mean, maybe the biggest buck we saw was maybe 100-incher. Outside of that, lots of does, man. That's it.
So I guess my ultimate question is, and we did this in Nebraska. You know, we've gone off of our previous experiences. We've gone off of friends' pins of where they've gone and everything before. What would be your number one best advice for somebody going to a new location out of state that they've never been into? What would they do from here to there? What's that look like to you?
Number one, so it's really three things. Or four, half of it's four. Number one, shoot your weapon. Right. Number two, get physical. And these are in no order, right?
Yeah,
Get in better shape than what you are. Because
right.
if you go out, if you're going someplace where you have to, let's say, stick it to whitetails here. If I'm going to Wisconsin, I need to be in shape to climb up and down hills. I need to be in shape good enough to uh, set up and tear down tree stands every day and move them around. I need to, or if I'm going to shoot from the ground, so you need to be mobile. So fitness, getting in good shape. And the other one is scouting. Legit, I'm going to add scouting into where you're going to hunt, how you're going to hunt, what season you're going to hunt, and then that will determine your gear. So those four-ish things, I would be checking your gear. I would be e-scouting and making phone calls and communicating with anybody that you know that lives in that state. Talk to them about it. But a lot of e-scouting if you have availability. Let's say you're single, you're young, and dude, drive out there over spring break or over a long weekend. I know guys who live in like Ohio, and they drive out to Colorado over, like,
Really?
they'll take a Friday off, they'll drive straight through. They're young, they have the
Yeah,
ability to do that. They scout for elk for 2 days, and then they get in a car Monday morning and drive all the way back. And then they take 2 days off, and they on a 4-day window, and they'll go out there and scout for elk. Or you can do that in any state for any species, really. But I know guys who come we're launching this in whitetail season, or in shed season right now. I know guys that come and scout public land and shed hunt while they're
yeah,
here.
yeah.
So a lot of different opportunities. But scout, e-scout, prepare, and then go to fitness, shoot your weapon, check your gear.
Okay, so then my next part of that would be in all the hunts that you've done out of state, what has been some of the most eye-opening things that maybe you didn't realize to that you were going to encounter or expect? And then what would be something that you like, oh, I forgot this, or I should have planned for that? What would be
Yeah.
your thoughts on those?
The first thing that into my head was I wore the wrong boots one year. I wore like a work boot instead of a hiking boot. That was a huge mistake. So from a gear standpoint, my gear was not on point. But that was also a learning experience where, like, I wasn't wearing merino wool. I was wearing cotton, and I got cold and wet and like sweating, and it just didn't work. Okay.
Yeah,
So obviously the gear, but the thing that most people are going to run into when they go to a different state is access. Okay, there's not just a parking, there's a lot of places where it's not just a parking lot that says park here,
yeah,
or you see a fence line. And this happens a lot with walk-in, and they do it purposely that way.
uh-huh,
Okay, so they say something is walk-in, but then from the fence that you see, you'll see one sign that says, this is not walk-in. And you can literally see the next sign, maybe 20 yards past that. So there's a 20-yard buffer from the road to the actual where the walk-in starts. And you're not allowed to walk across that.
yeah,
You have to find the other area, which is extremely difficult at some points,
yeah,
where you have to walk way around something to get back into it. So it's not just a little walk into it. Um, Access, knowing where you can and can't go. Certain places like, for example, Nebraska
that
has
road.
some ground. What?
The road, remember we found that one road that we could access the backside of I think it was some state ground, and we
Oh
ended up
yeah.
camping back there, like knowing what roads you can be on too.
Yep. Knowing what roads are very important. And dude, you have to call because there's a number on a road and it says it's a road, but then at certain times of year it's not a road. So
Right.
there's that. And the other thing would be if you're doing like a walk-in, here's a perfect example. If you're going walk-in, like walk-in in Kansas, walk-in in Nebraska, walk-in in North Dakota. I'm trying to think of other states with like good walk-in. Anyway, there's other eastern states that are like this too, but they're only walk-in. The landowner is only given permission walk-in for bow hunting, or has only given permission during the archery season or all year round except for pheasant season. So, and if pheasant season overlaps with deer season, well, then you can't you can't deer hunt in there because it's pheasant season. So a lot of times, like in certain states that like even in South Dakota, the second pheasant season comes in, they close their walk-in down and they pheasant hunt it, and you can't deer hunt it.
Yeah.
So it's just doing a little bit of research, knowing where you can go, knowing where you can't go, talking to people. It's almost like being a detective a little bit,
Yeah.
where you have to do some research, try to find leads or whatever, talk with people. I'm lucky. I know a lot of guys who travel to hunt, and they've helped me out in the past, and I've helped out some guys in the past by maybe sharing some pins or, talking about specific areas, what we've seen, what we haven't seen, all of that kind of stuff.
How much do you enjoy the process of being successful and finding your own spot versus using somebody else's pin?
All right. So I ran into a guy, or I know a guy who's a very successful non-resident hunter. Like he shows up, something's dying. He's really good. And he told me, dude, he's just like, yeah, it's cool to do your own research and find your own spot, but there's no secret spots anymore. With
Yeah.
once Onyx came out and those types of apps came out, there's no more secret spots.
Yeah.
And he goes, I am all about getting information from other people. I am all about sharing information with guys I know and trust and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And I am all for that 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 kind of experience. And so I'm just I don't know, man. I used to be pretty quiet about it, but
Yeah.
now, um, and it's not like if you're listening to this, thinking you're gonna get information off me, you're not. But
Yeah.
you know what I mean. But if
Yeah.
I know, like, let's say a buddy of mine, I'll definitely share information with him.
Yeah.
If you're like Dan here, dude, tell me about South Dakota. I'll be like, go check this area out. Go check this area out. I'll even drop some pins for some glassing points, for you and stuff like that. But I'm not just handing out great information to people. Like I don't
Well,
know.
yeah. Well, I was gonna say, I think we could take this thing all the way back to where we started and wrap it up with, what are we doing? Well, I know you, you know me. If you're heading to an area, I'm gonna send you some pins, and I'm gonna look at the enjoyment on your face when you have success, and that's gonna be success for me. So, like, part of
Yeah,
what I'm doing is seeing my people, succeed as well. So,
yeah. I actually know a couple guys who go to North Dakota every year. And they're like in a rotation. So they've become friends. I think one group is in Kentucky, the other group is in Wisconsin, and another guy lives in Missouri. And they go to the same area, but on different years, different 3-year rotation.
sure.
So they go in. So there's always constant information coming into this group of guys,
Yeah.
and they rotate through this every single year, and they go to
Right.
the same spots, and they're very successful when they go because of that.
Well, and they probably love seeing each other's success. If it's
Oh
not
yeah,
my year to be in South Dakota and it was your year and you bagged a, 4x4, like that's awesome. And
yep,
that's part of it, going back to what are we doing? Well, that's it right there. Cuz there'll
yeah,
come a day when maybe we take our kids out of state and we're doing that with them as well. So,
yep, absolutely. Well, this has been a really good BS session. I got to get the kids on the bus. Oh, I'm already late.
yeah, you are.
So whatever. If he misses it, I'm going that direction anyway.
Yeah.
Have a good one, man.
All right.
Just wanted to let everybody know, please go to iTunes or Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you download the How to Hunt Deer podcast. Please give us a 5-star review. That really helps us out. Go to iTunes and subscribe to the How to Hunt Deer YouTube channel. Leave a review there as well. Comment on all the videos. I guess that helps out. Outside of that, everybody be safe, have fun, and we'll talk to you next week.